All right, Maga, get out there. Where are you at? You got your jobs back. You got your jobs that were taken from you. Get out there. Get out there and start working. Get to work. America first. Get out there. 100% haven't shown up to work due to immigration raids. Texas farmer says. America's migrant workers are terrified to work, but unable to stay home. So get out there, Maga. You got these jobs back. You took them back. You voted. You got your guy in there to get rid of all of those migrant workers. So get out there. Get out there and start working. But for real, I want to shout out to the undocumented migrant workers as they were deemed essential in 2020. They stepped up when this nation needed them most. They have my utmost respect. They should see a pathway to citizenship. Period. Period. They were deemed essential workers, risking their lives in one of the most hazardous jobs in the entire U.S. labor market. They have my full respect. Thank you for your service and your contribution to this country.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like zero people wanting to come out. And
yeah, zero people. Wow. Zero people going to work the farms. And while, yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it, because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas, it's California and Washington. We are finding out that, yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was.
It's Joe from Georgia, so this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
You mean to tell me the farms in Texas are closing? Because they voted for their own staffs to be deported?
I want to be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, and plague, we all love to hate.
No, this is so sad. There are a bunch of white Texas farmers who are losing their farms right now. Because guess what? 100% of their workforce vanished. Wow. So all those people, who got eyes called on them, they were working on the farms. So now that they're gone, they cannot sustain the farms. You know what's crazy about this video? Because I talked about this like 2 months ago when Trump brought over all these South Afrikaners, farm people, where we find out that they were not really even farmers. And I was talking about this and found out that a few of our dear white farmers here had started losing their farms because of promises that were made to them and was not kept by this administration. So now it's trickling down to some other farmers because now their workforce, they're gone. And I was seeing somewhere where somebody came over, and it was a Caucasian man. He came over from Twitter, and he was like, y'all, a lot of these farmers, white farmers, they thought that black people were going to come and work for their farms.
What?
There's a lot going on in this country right now. Us heading into possibly World War II. But this is a conversation just to kind of talk about right now. That people are kind of seeing I guess what's the word? I can't even find the word, but the decisions that they made, they are coming back to hunt them. Let's just say that. So sorry to hear this, but yeah. So I do hope that some of these Native Americans that did lose their lands, that they do get back some of these farms that are being lost.
Texas. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. This is another Fafo video. Fafos continue. Credit goes to all the owners of this video. So Texas farmers, they are finding out. They are in the find out stage because they are losing their farms. They are losing their farms, and this is what they voted for. You guys voted for this. 70%, I think it was, of the farmers voted for Donald Trump, voted for this guy. And now you are getting what you voted for. This is what you guys deserve. I'm sorry to say this. This is going to affect everybody in United States. Every single body. The farmers are losing their farms right now. They are losing money, but at the end, all the American people, we are going to suffer these consequences. Everybody's going to suffer because, like in one of the videos, one guy was saying that you have, products, they are, rotting on the fields because nobody is showing up to work. Because of this ice raid, they are getting, hunt. They became the easy target for this administration, and they want, to deport 3,000 people a day, 3,000 people a day, and that's why they are going, for the easy targets. They are going to the farm. These are easy targets to get. They're not going after criminals because criminals, they're a lot harder to get, so they're just gonna go to these places, where it's easy to detain these workers. They just came to work the United States. Leave those guys alone, please. What you guys are doing? Now we're going to pay the consequences. High food prices and food shortages is coming. It's coming. So be prepared. Prepare yourself. What's coming next? It's not only Texas. It's happening in California. It's gonna happen all over United States. These immigrants, they are afraid to go, get out of their houses. They're just living in fear because what's going on with this administration. So It is crazy, guys. It is crazy. Let's continue watching the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the whole situation. I read some of the comments, people are, angry, and they are saying, this is what you voted for, so this is what you get. People, they are not having any sympathy for these farmers, because they said this is what you voted for. You are in the Fafo stage right now. So stop crying, stop complaining, and get yourself out there. They're even saying, get your family members to work on your farm, because this is what you wanted. So stop crying, stop complaining, and let's continue with the video, and let's see what happened. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really appreciate your support, and let's continue with the next video.
This is continuing the F around and find out stage.
There you go.
Immigrant farm workers are not showing up on farms in the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, Florida, and California. In Texas, in particular, in the Rio Grande Valley, they produce many crops needed around the country, such as grapefruit, corn, citrus, oranges, all the vegetables, tomatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions are all grown here. And guess what? The undocumented workers are not showing up there. They're not showing up here in Florida, and they're not showing up in California. Now, I can hear you all say, you don't care, you're glad they're getting them. They're breaking the law, number one. They are criminals. They're not criminals. They are violating a civil violation, which is a fine or a penalty. It is not criminal, unlike the felon in the White House. That's a criminal. You will be complaining when you see no fruit, vegetables, and other crops in our grocery stores to eat. You will care when you see the prices escalate even higher. Isn't that the reason y'all supposedly voted for Trump? Because he was going to bring the prices down, and y'all could only complain and complain about everything under Biden. I don't hear y'all complaining about these out of control prices anymore that we continue to see everywhere thanks to Donald Trump. And all the prices that we've seen go up because of the trade deals, or no trade deals, and the tariffs. Well, guess what? These prices are going up. Thank you, Donald Trump. You and Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is such a genius. He is the whole reason that we're having this whole problem, because he is so anti-immigrant. And by the way, his family came from Europe. They were persecuted as immigrants. And Elon, oops, did I say Elon? I did say Elon. Elon, how do you like hanging out with Stephen's wife? What do you think? Love to hear from my Democrats and my Magas, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. What do you all think? Only going to cost us more money, and to accomplish what? This is not a solution. It is the problem. Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are the problem. Love to hear from my Democrats, my Magas, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. Let me know what you think. You like these higher prices and the food shortages you're going to see if this continues, and it's going to continue. They're not going to show up. And I'm going to talk about ICE in another video.
Oh yeah, it is true. Like that, this guy was saying, people, they voted, for Trump because he promised to bring down grocery prices. He's doing the opposite. Since he took office, grocery prices, they just went up. Once they go up, they never gonna go down. Believe me, they never gonna go down. Egg prices. Can you believe how, eggs are, they cost an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg. So it's freaking ridiculous.
Why? Because 100% of the workforce has vanished. It's not a mystery. They haven't gone missing. They've left. Because of immigration raids and policies that treat the people that grow our food, even the ones with work permits, like criminals. No workers means no harvest. Do you think food's expensive now? Just wait. And this isn't just a Texas issue. It's your dinner table, your kids' school lunch, your grocery bill, your local farmer's market. You want America first? Well, guess what? America just ran out of farm workers. And it turns out crops don't pick themselves.
Nope.
We've arrested, detained, or deported the workforce. And now we don't have enough food. There aren't enough people to take care of the livestock either. Guess what? Cows don't feed themselves. Chickens can't clean their own pens. And then they get sick and they die. And there goes your milk, your eggs, and your cheeseburger. This is what happens when we let people write policy who haven't worked a day in their life, especially on a farm, but they never miss a steak dinner. We need migrant workers. We need labor protections for the migrant workers. If the workforce continues to disappear, so will all the food on your plates.
News out of Texas, and if this is happening in Texas, this is happening elsewhere. I'll put the link to the article in the description. Multiple farms are shutting down due to lack of workers because the entire workforce has basically fled and is in hiding and not showing up for work. Crops are being left to die in the Texas heat. Livestock is being untended to, unwatered, and unfed. There's just no one to do the work. So this is going to lead to potential food shortages, because I'm sure this is happening across the country. Most farm workers are questionably documented. No one else is willing to do the work. This is going to lead to shortages, and inflation is going to go back up as we're going to have to import food from outside.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up, and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope Maga likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
Well, thanks to the big orange gremlin looking motherfucker, multiple farms in Texas just shut down overnight. Why? Because ICE raids made nearly 100% of the workforce completely vanish. People ran, got detained, or flat out got scared to death and never came back. Dairy farms are in panic mode right now. Cows gotta be milked every 8 hours. And guess what? Nobody's showing up to milk these fuckers, folks. This isn't some Texas problem either. This is happening across the entire nation. ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bullshit laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your fucking store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving.
Hello, Americans who like to eat. I'm Linda, and I want to talk about empty grocery shelves. They are coming, and sooner than we think. There's a 3,000 per day immigrant detention quota. 40% of farm workers in the United States.
Can you believe that? I said it before. They want 3,000, per day. 3,000 immigrants per day. They want to detain 3,000. That is insane. Just imagine. They're just going after, these people that are working on the farms.
United States are undocumented. You do the math. Farms are an excellent place to find undocumented immigrants to detain and deport, depleting the workforce. And now, those who haven't been rounded up are afraid to show up. Let's look at just one state, Texas. According to farmers, this issue has been affecting their farms for a couple of weeks, but overnight, it bottomed out. On several Texas farms, nearly 100% of farm workers aren't showing up. So what does that mean for you? Remember Trump's comment about having 2 dolls instead of 30? Cows are milked 3 times a day. No workers, no milk, and some very unhappy cows. What if your grocery store, instead of getting 30 gallons of milk, gets 2? 28 families will not be able to buy milk. Now extrapolate that among produce. Produce that instead of being harvested is rotting on the vine. Texas is one of the top 10 producers of 40 major commodities. It is the 4th largest agriculture producer in the nation and 2nd in animal products. And it's not just cows not being milked and produce rotting on the vine. 1 in 7 Texans works in an agriculture-related job. If farms stop working, those jobs are affected.
Yep.
Workers not earning money aren't paying taxes. And yes, undocumented workers pay taxes. Without money coming in, they will cut back on things like restaurants and small businesses, movie theaters, wherever they spend their discretionary income. Last week, Trump ordered a halt to immigration enforcement at farms. But it may already be too late to solve the current problem. The lack of workers now mean farms won't hit full production this year. And if they lose planting now, there is nothing to harvest later. Yet, despite Trump's assurances, a few days after his statement, the administration resumed the raids. Vance says the administration plans to continue clearing the country of undocumented immigrants. Quote, we're enforcing everywhere. In other words, you ought to voluntarily go back and come through the proper channels, unquote. That can literally take years. And frankly, it doesn't protect you from being deported. In the meantime, the question remains, how long are you willing to go without food? Bye, Americans. Have a nice day.
All right, guys. It is crazy. You know, farmers, especially in Texas. I never been to Texas. I haven't been to Texas, so I don't know if true or not. But this is what they say. I'm not saying this. You know, I just hear. I'm just saying what I hear, what I heard. You know, they are very racist people in Texas. So they voted, I will say 100% they voted, you know, for Trump, especially farmers. And now they are regretting what they did. They are regretting what they did because immigrants, they're not going back to work on the farms. And it looks like, you know, these farmers, they thought that black people, supposedly black people, they was gonna go back and knock on the doors and, you know, oh, you guys are hiring? Oh, I'm here to apply to work on the fields. It's not happening. It's not going to happen, brothers and sisters. So we are in this together. We are already in trouble. It's gonna get worse for now. So brace yourself. Let's continue.
There's reports coming out right now about farms in Texas losing nearly 100% of their staff due to immigrant workers not turning up because of fear of the ICE raids. So let's talk about that. Texas farms generate around $32 billion a year in revenue for the state, huge, valuable, and there's around 100,000 and there's hundreds of thousands of farm workers in Texas. And around 20-30% of those are foreign born, and around 17% of those are undocumented. So there's a lot of immigrants and a substantial number of undocumented immigrants. Now, the ICE raids have caused people to stay at home because of the fear that they're going to get deported. This means that farms are losing their staff. Some areas have lost half their workers overnight. That's halts milk operations and also means the herd isn't being tended to. But it's not 100% for staff because less than 30% are immigrants in the first place. So we need to clarify 2 points. First of all, it is an issue because farms require a lot of manual labour. And even if you're losing 10% of the staff, that's going to be a bigger impact, but it's not 100%. Now, the reason it's a problem right now is this harvest is going on right now. So it's the winter wheat harvest, so it's planted in winter, gets harvested now, and around 50% of wheat could be harvested right now. And it's a critical phase. That's not going to happen if the staff aren't there. You then got a lot of fruit being harvested right now: cantaloupes, watermelons, peaches, plums, blackberries. They're all being harvested right now in either central or northern Texas. And these delays could either cause a loss of the crop or a reduced quality and therefore reduced revenue for the farmers. So it's actually quite a big issue. There's also secondary effects. Hay and silage is having troubles being harvested. That means there's going to be a long tail impact because the lack of hay now can impact the feed supplies later on. You've also got problems with logistics, so haulage, delivery, and then food processing plants. Think about abattoirs, etc. If the immigrant workers don't turn for that either, you're not going to be able to get the food processed even once it is going from the farm to the factory. So this is quite a big issue. Not 100% of staff, but it is a significant percentage of staff which is going to impact food supplies.
It's like he was saying, it's not 100%, but when you lose, let's say you got 10 workers, let's say 20 workers, and you lose five of those workers, the rest of the workers, they're going to have to pick up the slack, and they're going to be working a lot of overtime. They're going to have to be working 7 days a week. Who knows, if they used to work 10 hours a day, they're going to have to work 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, even more. So they're going to be tired.
Here, we are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening. With the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting, that is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their back.
So guys, this is a big problem. It's a huge problem, and it's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. Like this lady was saying, credit to her on her video. You got, the truck drivers that come to this farm to pick up the produce, and then they bring it to another factory where they get, they wash the vegetable, the produce, they pack the produce, and then you have another truck driver that, pick them up and bring it to the grocery store where you go buy these products. But this food is not coming to you to your local supermarket anymore. We are going to be seeing these effects in the next, who knows, on the next week, months. So it's going to affect every single body in the United States, and it's going to get worse from now. It's going to get worse. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What's going to be the outcome of all of this? Uh, so guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to like. Helps me a lot on the algorithm to grow the channel. And see you guys on the next video. Thank you and bye bye.